Urgent Steelers fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Pittsburgh Steelers have a new fallback option at quarterback. The Pittsburgh Steelers need a plan C if Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson decide to go elsewhere. So could they turn to a familiar face that was once their biggest rival? Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk says Joe Flacco could be an option for Pittsburgh. Eventually, he'll get an offer. Maybe more than one, Florio said. And if the Steelers are looking to go cheaper at the position than Rodgers, Flacco could be their best move. Flacco started 6 games for the Colts in 2024, amassing 1,781 yards with 12 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. One of his best games came against the Steelers, where he replaced Anthony Richardson due to injury and led the Colts to a 27-24 win. Flacco 40 has already visited the Giants. The Steelers' plan seemed to be one of Wilson or Rodgers, with Rodgers being the preferred option. However, Flacco could be a high-floor option if the Steelers decided to go elsewhere with their search. Along with Mason Rudolph, they would likely have a competition to decide who would start the season. If that were the pairing, a draft pick would be a near certainty to join the room. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest The Black and Gold news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Chiefs sign former star Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. The Kansas City Chiefs have resigned former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster to a 1-year deal. It will now be Smith-Schuster's third season with Kansas City, where he has won a Super Bowl and become a key part of multiple playoff teams. Working as their WR4 this year, Smith-Schuster was vaulted up the depth chart when injuries continued to hit the room. He missed multiple games with a hamstring injury. He had just 18 receptions for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns. Before heading to the New England Patriots, Smith-Schuster signed a 1-year incentive-laden deal, allowing him to land his big contract in free agency while winning a Super Bowl. Due to a knee issue and other circumstances, it did not work out for Smith-Schuster in New England, but his return to Kansas City has allowed him to take on a power slot role, where he is a key blocker for a Chiefs team that wants to run the ball well. Throughout the offseason, the Steelers' second-round pick in the 2017 NFL Draft had concerns about his knees, and he missed time with ailments to his lower body, including an ankle injury in 2023. A USC product, Smith-Schuster had his best season in 2018, where he eclipsed over 1,400 receiving yards and looked like a star next to Antonio Brown. NFL rumors: Aaron Rodgers has standing offers from Steelers, Giants as Vikings sit on periphery. Aaron Rodgers has free agency at a standstill as teams are waiting to see where he signs. There are several teams who are interested in his services, and they probably can't do anything until he gets back to them. Those teams are the Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giants, and Minnesota Vikings, and ESPN's Jeremy Fowler had the latest update on the quarterback's status. I am told from sources that Rodgers does have standing offers from the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants, Fowler said on SportsCenter. I checked with the source from one of those teams about a timeline for Rodgers. I got back a text with the Webster's Dictionary of the word enigma, and so that's kind of the feeling right now. Teams are waiting this out, waiting on Rodgers. The feeling is there's not just a money consideration here. There's fit, there's surroundings, all those things. Minnesota Vikings are sort of on the periphery here. Sources there tell me that it's possible they get involved with Rodgers, but the feeling this week has been probably not. They want to develop J.J. McCarthy. The Steelers may have the most intriguing situation for Rodgers as the team recently just traded for DK Metcalf to improve their offense. It's not certain how long it will take Aaron Rodgers to make a decision on where he decides to play next season, but it's obvious that he's holding up some teams. Though the Steelers may have the most interesting case for Rodgers, the New York Giants also could be an intriguing place to play. They have a solid defense and a budding star on offense in Malik Neighbors, who would be Rodgers' go-to option. To add to that, the Giants have the 3rd pick in the NFL Draft and could select a game-changer at a position of need. It doesn't seem like the Vikings are too interested in Rodgers, which makes sense because they have J.J. McCarthy. At the same time, the Vikings are coming off a big season, and they may want some real stability at the quarterback position, and Rodgers can give them that. The hope is that Rodgers can decide where he wants to play soon, so the teams that lose out on them can find other options to sign in the event that he doesn't choose them. It should be interesting to see where things lead as free agency continues, Giants rumored to trail in Rodgers' sweepstakes. Perhaps quarterback Aaron Rodgers dragging out his free agency and holding two teams hostage in the process is his magnum opus. The New York Giants are eagerly awaiting Rodgers' decision, one that seems increasingly likely to come down to either East Rutherford or the Pittsburgh Steelers with a brief cameo from the Minnesota Vikings. Rodgers struggled in 2024 and won't make any team a true Super Bowl contender. And yet two teams are holding their breath and waiting on his willingness to put pen to paper. The race has had multiple favorites. Pittsburgh seemed logical given its two 2024 starters hitting the market. New York might be the only team more desperate for a starting quarterback. Now, the Giants are rumored to lose Rodgers to the iconic AFC franchise. While the New York Giants are still rumored to be an option, this is beginning to feel like Pittsburgh or retirement for Rodgers if the Minnesota Vikings don't come calling, Nick Brinkerhoff wrote. The Steelers can offer Rodgers a chance to win in 2025. While he's notoriously someone that enjoys being in the spotlight, this offseason feels different. New York's front office badly needs a veteran passer in the room, both to help win games. In 2025 and to bring along a rookie quarterback that is largely expected to be taken with a top 3 pick come April. This regime cannot afford another lost season, and a capable veteran quarterback is the quickest path to said goal. Rodgers should be competent, throwing for 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions in 2024. But it's clear that it takes more than 2 star receivers and an average offensive line for his units to function on the wrong side of 40 years old and hell be operating an offense he's less comfortable with. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, offers more stability with head coach Mike Tomlin, more receiving talent, even if Malik Nabers is the best of the two teams' targets, and a more proven defense. If the goal is to win in 2025, the Steelers should take priority. The Steelers have the chance to potentially do something special thanks to their defense and the reinforcements coming on offense, he continued. Rodgers might be the final piece. If his heart isn't into it, Canton, not Pittsburgh, will be the future Hall of Famers' next stop. As rumors of Rodgers' retirement continue to swirl, it may be prudent for New York to pivot to the next best option, Russell Wilson, ahead of time, even if it means sacrificing some upside. And now, Steelers fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for the black and gold. I'll be back any moment with more Steeler Nation news. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.